been some news this morning. Not from any of the folks, the hardworking folks who cover the Dolphins and swarm around the facility and would, presumably be aware if Tua Tagovailoa is there or not there. None of them are reporting this. This comes from Jonathan Jones of CBS. I have a theory on how this came to be, and we're not supposed to speculate on sources. I still have a theory that I'm going to share. Jones reports that Tua Tagovailoa has been mostly absent from Dolphins facilities and offseason activities as he looks for his contract. And this dovetails with the why they did Jared Goff now. I think the Lions feared maybe Jared Goff wouldn't show up for the start of OTAs on Monday, the 21st of May. That's the only leverage you have. As a guy under contract, the leverage you have is to stay away from the offseason. And the deeper you get into the program, the harder it is to lay the foundation for what you're going to be doing this year if the starting quarterback isn't there. So this tells me Tua isn't happy, Tua wants his contract, and whatever the Dolphins have offered so far is not nearly enough to get him to say yes.
Well, and I think that makes plenty of sense, right? As you say, there's not much leverage that Tagovailoa can exercise here. And he has been at some aspects of the offseason program, as Jones notes in his report. He was captured on the field at their April 19th workout, but since then he's remained largely absent. And when something like that happens, it does disrupt what it is that you're trying to do and what you're trying to implement, especially offensively, right? Yes, this is somebody who has been in Mike McDaniel's system over the last couple of years. So it's not like, oh man, this is going to be something that's horrible. It's going to completely set him back and all of that. But it's not helpful when you're trying to make it past the first game of the postseason, right? When you're still trying to win a division, they certainly didn't get that done with their collapse late in the year, that your quarterback is not all in on everything that you're trying to do in the offseason. And when that has to do with the contract, man, yeah, that does make a lot of sense, because right now he is currently slated to play on his fifth-year option, which is fully guaranteed, just over $23 million. But the top QBs in the league are making more than that, 2 times that. So this is where, Tagovailoa and the Dolphins are going to have to figure out what it is that they want to do.
And the yes or no question of whether or not he deserves a new contract is easy. Yes, he does. The harder question is for how much? Where does he land? And the Jared Goff contract, we talked about this earlier in the week, it is the rising tide that is going to lift boats like Dak Prescott, Tua Tagovailoa, Trevor Lawrence. We talked about it earlier in the show. At some point, is somebody going to say enough? And see, the Dolphins might be tempted to ride this out and make a decision after the season. By not showing up, Tua is telling them, I'm not on board with that. I'm not on board with kicking the can at $23 million for one more year. That's an insult relative to what he's accomplished and relative to the market. Now, does that mean he deserves 55? No. Where does he land? They haven't been able to figure that out. And I think this is significant for another reason. And this is where I'm going to get into the territory that it's frowned upon in the business to guess on sources, but I don't think this is a leap. I think this is what happened. I think the Dolphins and Tua understood the situation. They understood he was going to stay away as these negotiations happen, but he showed up enough that no one noticed. If you're there early, the reporters see you and they assume you're there. And the reporters aren't there constantly seeing everything that's happening during the offseason. Because trust me, if any of the reporters who cover the team knew he wasn't there, they would have said so. So they managed to keep it under control. The Dolphins want to keep it under control. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. Now, what happens, I think, and there's 2 explanations. One, Tua's camp decided we've had enough of this discretion. We're going to make sure people know what's going on. Or Jones, after Goff gets his deal, starts poking around. What's up with Tua? And kind of trips over this. And through this organic process of communicating, somebody decided, let's go ahead and tell him. You know what? Screw them. Let's go ahead and let them know what's going on. Let's put some light on this subject. If Goff's getting 53, let's get our guy paid now. Let's make our move now. OTAs are coming up next week. And that's the thing. They're going to know next week. If there's any media access to OTAs, where's number 1? Oh, he's not here. So this was kind of the time where they needed to get it out there anyway, because I think it's more jarring if you show up for the first day of OTAs and everybody's like, where the hell's Tua? So there's no accidents. There's no coincidences. This is all strategic. But I think it's perfect time for this to come out, Myles. And now we see if it works. We see if it gets Tua the contract he wants.
Well, and we see if he shows up next week, right? Because I'm sure there will be media access. And so it will be interesting to see if he's there, and if he's there, what he then says about his situation.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.